good to have you along here, 3 and Out on this Wednesday. Kevin Thomas, PJ Bennett, Ben Troop. Glad you are with us as SEC Media Day rolls on. We are in between Braves games. Braves lose the first one to San Diego today. They'll have another one coming up. We'll have coverage for you starting at 4:05 here this afternoon, and they'll try to take the series from the Padres 2-3 if they can come back on top. But guys, SEC Media Days today, it's Alabama's turn. I think Nick Saban kind of sucks all the oxygen out of the room, if you will. Tell me who else is there today.
John Mechie and Phidarian Mathis. Mathis, yeah.
I mean, Vanderbilt was there. Clark Lee said, "We don't apologize for being Vanderbilt." And they said, "Excuse me, Clark, Nick's coming in. Can you hurry up so we can move forward?" But, yeah, Alabama out there today, obviously getting all the headlines.
Alabama, I think at the end of the day, Kevin, I mean, like you mentioned, every time Nick Saban is in the building, everybody's afraid to ask. You still got – did the vaccine guy step up and say, "All right, fellas, I got to ask him." But Nick Saban is showing that his ability to adjust, his ability to go out there and really control the room, control the narrative. My very, very first SEC Media Days, it got real quiet. It's like it was a library. And I was like, why is everybody? And like Nick Saban looked at me with all the cameras around him, like, be quiet. I mean, the beast is in the building. But no, Alabama's going to be, surprise, the team to beat this year, not just in the SEC, but in the country. Everybody's saying this year is going to be the year to beat Alabama. Well, we'll see when you got to step in front of them. But yeah, Alabama is still the gold standard, the creme de la creme. Nick Saban knows it. And when he got, Greg McElroy on TV laughing at his jokes that are not funny, that is another reason why Nick Saban is the man, no matter what.
Well, and a lot of talk about Bryce Young today, obviously with the off the field name, image, likeness stuff, and the money apparently he's been able to get, and then his expectations. You talk about Tua, you talk about Mac Jones, you talk about the Alabama standard. Obviously, a very talented guy. And a guy that has earned this position, this opportunity, and a lot of talk about him. I heard John Mechie talking about his chemistry with Bryce Young, and I think that's going to be a big-time playmaking duo, Ben. I think you're going to see the deep ball utilized a lot with those two. But look, it's Alabama. You have 10 guys drafted. You have 6 guys go in the first round. I think you had like 8 of the top 38 picks, and you're still preseason number 1 and expected to win it all.
Mechie and Bryce Young, that's going to be something we hear all year long. Mechie was kind of, I kind of saw him on Twitter. He was mad he did the top 5 returning receivers this year in the country. His name wasn't in it. He had the big eye emoji saying, "Oh, that's how y'all feel." He was able to really make a name for himself last year when Jalen Waddle went out. But think about it, last 2 years, 4 first-round picks at the receiver position.
And we'll come back. We'll have some time to get some quick audio. Paul Feinbaum, a couple of Alabama guys that our own Christian Gokel had a chance to catch up with there at SEC Media Days. We'll hear from them next. It's 3 and Out on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. 3 and Out here on this Wednesday. Kevin, BJ, and Ben. Glad you are with us here in between Braves coverage. We'll have Game 2 Braves coverage coming up top of next hour here for you as the Braves finish up their series with the San Diego Padres. But our own Christian Gokel there at SEC Media Days, and I had a chance to track down a couple of Alabama guys, and I guess Paul Feinbaum is an Alabama guy, kind of, with all of his notoriety coming in the state of Alabama. But Christian Gokel had a chance to catch up with Paul Feinbaum there at SEC Media Days quickly.
Christian Gokel at SEC Media Days 2021 here with the legendary Paul Feinbaum. Now, Paul, we have Ben Troop on our show, obviously early 2000s SEC football. I wanted to ask you, what has been your favorite era of SEC football?
It's a phenomenal question. There's so many different ones to choose from. I love the 80s maybe because it started with Vince Dooley. You had Pat Dye, the end of the Bryant era, Johnny Majors. I mean, just some, Spurrier was showing up at the end of it. So I would probably go with that.
What's your thing you're looking forward to the most going into this season?
Just getting to a stadium. I mean, I think that's the answer you're going to hear from a lot of people, but there's just so much angst after last year.
Awesome.
And that's quickly Paul Feinbaum talking. I know he had a chance also to catch up with John Mechie, a wide receiver who is going to be getting a lot of accolades here in 2021, and catch up with him quickly.
Christian Gokel at SEC Media Days 2021, standing with John Mechie, man. Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy. The list just goes on and on with Alabama receivers who are really changing the landscape of football. What does it mean to you to kind of be next in line?
I think it's an honor. I think, like you said, a lot of great guys have come before me, and I think it's an honor to kind of be next and be up for that. Thank you. Appreciate that.
And that was John Mechie. And again, BJ, he's a guy that is going to fill in nicely. I think it was just, 50, 60 yards off the pace there at Alabama last year as the number 2 guy. So I think guy is more than ready to step into a spotlight role.
Going to have a huge season and a great downfield playmaker. I mean, you think about speed, Ben. You think about the ability to make one move and lose a defender. Wouldn't be surprised if you see Mechie score 10, 12 or more touchdowns, be over 1,000 yards. I think that'll definitely happen, and probably average, 17, 18 yards per catch. He has that kind of game-breaking ability, and he's a true number 1 receiver. And it's amazing to think about him and the guys Alabama had in recent years, but expect him to be an All-American this fall.
I don't know who DBU is, BJ, at this point, but wide receiver U has to be Alabama. That wide receiver room got to be the hardest room in college football when you look at the fact that they're going to have to wait their turn. Jerry Jeudy, you talk about Henry Ruggs, you talk about Jalen Waddle, you talk about Devonta Smith. Now you got John Mechie. I think they got another Devonta Smith just because that's how good he was when he was there. But, yeah, John Mechie is going to be a guy who understands the game because he was able to fill in as a nice Robin role when Jalen Waddle got hurt last year. Watch Waddle. It's going to be young to Waddle. Get used to hearing that a lot this fall.
And again, Christian there at SEC Media Days had a chance to catch up with the other representative from Alabama, Phidarian Mathis, defensive side of the ball there for Alabama.
Christian Gokel at SEC Media Days, standing with Alabama defensive lineman Phidarian Mathis. Man, huge season opener against Miami. I know after 2020, not playing in front of full crowds, how excited are you to run out on that field in front of a sold-out Mercedes-Benz?
Oh, I'm very excited, man. I know that both teams got big fan bases, and I can't wait to be out there in the A, with my teammates.
Obviously, a ton of Alabama defensive linemen, some that in the NFL right now. What are the conversations that you have with those guys?
Oh, man, it just motivate me. Just motivate me to, man, you got it, man. It's your last year. Just go out there and be yourself and, just taking on a role, big role, just being a great leader for the team and, do great things happen for you. So.
You said it a few times in your main media room press conference there, asking you about name, image, and likeness, and you said you're just happy when your brothers on the team earn something, right? A lot of people, I think, are trying to create a divide that's not really there in the locker room. You guys are just happy for each other.
Yeah, we're happy for each other, man. I think we deserve it, and I'm happy to see everybody win, like I say, because a lot of people come for nothing, and it's an opportunity to, to give back and also just, feed your family.
and you've obviously gone up against a bunch of NFL offensive linemen, but every day this past year you're going up against an Evan Neal. Who comes out on top of those battles?
Oh man, it'd be a battle. His group come to war and mine's come ready for war too. So, come fall camp, it's gonna be a lot of banging. So we both win on both sides.
That was the best answer ever. Hey, they win some, we win some. Good thing we don't have to go up against each other in the game. That's a good answer. But yeah, a lot of themes there. BJ and Ben covered, name, image, likeness for the players who are, for the most part, but you either heard, look, I haven't really bothered with it too much because I'm trying to focus on football. I don't really understand what could get me in trouble, maybe what doesn't. And hey, we're just happy to be back and know we're going to have a season with fans there and have folks there with us each and every Saturday.
Yeah, really good perspective. And he's going to be instrumental to a defense that is going to be the nation's best. I mean, you're talking about all SEC, all American guys at every level. We've heard pundits say, could this be the best defense in 5, 6, 7 years for Alabama? And you bring in Henry To'oTo'o from Tennessee as well, but great depth on the defensive line, playmakers at linebacker, stars in the secondary. Ben, you're going to see a vintage Alabama defense this fall.
If everybody trying to see what they're going to do on offense, being able to replace guys like Devonta Smith, guys like Jalen Waddle, Najee Harris, Mac Jones, you better be looking out for a defense that's going to be hard to move the ball against. And isn't that what we know Alabama for? I know that we get away from that defense, BJ and Kevin, because of how much they've been lighting up these scoreboards. Well, have you been seeing the fact that Alabama's still pitching shutouts? Shutouts in the SEC are shutouts in college football are hard to come by, but guys like Mathis, those guys have been sitting around and they get so much veteran leadership. Guys they played against has moved on to the NFL. I think it's great that they still can reach out to guys, tell them this your time, it's your senior year, you get a chance to be a leader. Didn't want to give love to that offensive line because his defensive line buddy is going to be listening. But if you've ever seen Alabama practice, that's why the game is so easy for him, because Nick Saban do not make life easy for those guys during practice. But Alabama, they're going to be great on defense. Surprise, surprise. Captain Obvious should be walking out at any time saying, yes, Alabama's going to be incredible on defense. So good luck if you got to go up against those guys this year.
And again, I think Alabama, when it's all said and done, BJ, going to be the overwhelming favorite, probably even with Georgia in there. I'm interested to see actually how close that media vote is when it comes to picking an SEC champion, as to maybe how split the SEC media is on Alabama or Georgia at the end of the week here.
I mean, I think it'll be pretty comfortable in favor of Bama, just because of the benefit of the doubt the program earns and Nick Saban and the star players that are back. I think you'll see Alabama be a clear favorite in the West, Georgia be a clear favorite in the East. There's always some votes that surprise you, but in terms of the overall SEC champ, I think Alabama will be the heavy favorite, and maybe Georgia gets more votes than they have any years that we've been a part of it that we remember, because the margin appears to be close. But do I think Alabama will be the clear favorite, if you want to phrase it that way, when the votes come in? Yes.
We'll see. I mean, what that national narrative is always going crazy when it comes to them Georgia Bulldogs and rightfully so. They top 1, top 2, and 3 in recruiting. They got JT Daniels coming back with a full off season. No George Pickens, no problem. When you add Eric Gilbert, you look at what they're going to be able to do on defense. Not really in their secondary, but that front seven should be really, really good. And Kobe Dean and those guys. I mean, I just think that for me, Alabama doesn't have guys. They had guys transfer in. They was only adding to a loaded team already. We'll see what happens. I know that everybody wants to see Nick Saban lose to one of his previous coaches, but Nick Saban goes, I don't want Kirby Smart to have a nice best-selling book when they talking about I'm the one that took the guru down. But it's one thing to talk about, another thing to be about it. And when you got to stand in front of them, it's a total different monster.
Yeah, and some other, obviously, Bama there, as I said, kind of jokingly sucks the air out of the room. But you had Vanderbilt there, Mike Leach and Mississippi State making the rounds this afternoon. Any thoughts quickly on those Bulldogs out west and what Mike Leach can do in year 2?
Yeah, he has a history of success in year 2, but this schedule, I mean, the defenses he's going to see, brutal. I like Will Rogers, the quarterback, but you got to have some balance. And I don't just mean, offense with rushing and passing, but you got to be able to stop people as well. And I think that's going to be a big test for Mississippi State. We know they're going to score. Can they stop people consistently? But this is a team you don't want to play. It's a tricky opponent for sure.
For me, it's always the same thing with Mike Leach. Are you willing to get away from the pass if the pass isn't run, to kind of feature the run a little bit? We know that Leach ball, you want to be able to go out there and spread everybody out. I'm sorry. Those type of things are not. Washington State, yes. Valdosta State, yes. Mississippi State, no. Because these guys are just as big, just as fast, just as strong. BJ, if Mike Leach can adjust and run the football on first down and not, run the football on, third and 2 and not pass it on and not run the football on 3rd and 20, they got a shot to be in some games this year. But that SEC West schedule is brutal by itself, but we'll see. But I'm always excited to see Mike Leach in year 2.
Yeah, Mike Leach brings the personality to the conference for sure. At the end of the day, hard to believe we're about halfway through day 3. Only one more full day to go there at SEC Media Days. You have ACC Media Days, BJ, with about a minute to go. I know I saw all the photos of Dabo and Jeff Collins and all those guys headed to Charlotte. Outside of Clemson, where's the storylines?
I think North Carolina and Miami, and both those teams have the potential to be top 10. Who emerges? Who's the favorite in the ACC Coastal? And could that team possibly make a run at a playoff spot? Something to think about.
Mr. Sims, the only true freshman quarterback last year to go out there and try to lead them Georgia Tech boys in a schedule that wasn't favorable to him. But Mr. Sims, the law officers of Sims and Gibbs, y'all better watch out for him. Georgia Tech got a shot to shock some guys. Now that schedule ain't favorable to him, but I think Coach Jeff Collins got something this year for the young boys.
And we'll see what they have to say. We'll have some of that for you tomorrow on the show, as well as all from the final day at SEC Media Days. Braves and Padres game 2 right around the corner. So a very shortened edition of 3 and Out today. And you can catch the Braves coming up here in about 7 minutes. It's 3 and Out, Southern Pigskin Radio Network.